Hello friends, it's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums, and I will be sharing another tarot spread video or card spread video. As with all of these videos, you can literally use any sort of deck that you prefer. I just like the nuance and layers that can kind of come from using tarot for these sort of spreads. So again, you can do whatever you want in your practice. It is really up to you to decide what works best for you. So today I will be sharing the Period of Transition spread by Emerald Lotus Divination. And I think that this is going to be perfect for the beginning of eclipse season. I'm hoping that this spread also brings you a lot of different clarity and guidance as you kind of go through different shifts and changes in your own personal life. So let's kind of get into it. It is a 6-card spread. And as I typically do with these tarot learning or tarot spread videos, I like to use this Learning Tarot Cards deck from Witchy Cauldron, just to kind of help you guys kind of follow along and to help kind of clarify why I feel certain things mean certain whatever in the different positions that I pull a card in. So let's get this nice and shuffled here. And let's see what we have. We are not doing jumpers today, girl. We'll just chalk it up to my hand's not wanting to grab everything the way that I should. So let's kind of get these shuffled. All right, so let's, oh my gosh, okay. We're gonna put that up because that's not what we're doing. These cards always want to tattle on me. Okay, so let's kind of get into how this spread is going to, like what cards we're pulling, and then also what we want to discuss. So all right, so card number 1 will be a card to define the change happening in my life. So let's kind of focus. I have some changes coming up. So this is the card to define the change happening in my life. We have the 5 of Cups. Okay, I'm laughing because these cards, I like come here with the intention of this is just going to be a cute little whatever, we're going to kiki a little bit, and then the cards want to tell on all my business. Okay, so how am I coping with this shift emotionally? So here we have the High Priestess reversed. Goodness. Okay. So what can I do to flow positively with the change? Here we have the 8 of Cups reversed. My goodness. All right. So card number 4 is going to be something that I need to be conscious of at this time. Here we have the 10 of Wands reversed. Oh my goodness. All right. So card number 5 is going to be how this change will look moving forward. The 8 of Swords, and a way I can stay positive and high vibrational. The 5 of Wands. Okay. Oh my goodness. These cards are so goofy. All right, so now that I've kind of confirmed how I want these cards to look before I kind of get into the actual reading, and you can kind of lay them out in a way that makes sense for you. I'm going to kind of adjust here so that you guys can kind of see everything, and hopefully it doesn't look crazy over here. All right. So this is where I'm going to do a sample reading and kind of show you how I would read these cards for the questions in this spread. So card number 1, again, this is going to be a card to define the change happening in my life. So here we have loss, sadness, loss, grief, despair, abandonment, guilt, remorse, regret, trauma, mourning, heartbreak, unwelcome change, focusing on negative emotions, isolation, and loneliness. I do have quite a bit happening behind the scenes in my own personal life, as we all do. And I will say that while I wouldn't look at it as something that is so emotionally traumatic that feels like I have to kind of be super depressed or super disconnected in some way. I will say that I am currently going through certain elements of my life and different things going on with my health to kind of bring up some of this sense of loss or whatever. I'm not going to really get into it too much here, just because it's like womanly stuff, right? So I'm kind of coming to terms with like what that means for me as like a woman. What is that going to mean for my health? What is that going to... So I can see why I would get this card in this, like the card to define the change happening in my life. There's also these other changes that I think will be happening, maybe not at this present moment, maybe within like the next year and a half or so. Still kind of in that transitory kind of period of just trying to figure out like what comes next. So I see why I would pull that card with this change, because it just, I don't deal well with like losses and changes. It's just not always like the most comfortable thing for me. So how am I coping with this shift emotionally? We have the High Priestess, which intuitively I have really tried to connect to this energy in the sense of, is this the right thing for me? Because I have a lot of fears about, going under the knife and having what maybe to others is not considered a major surgery, but to me, I feel like it is a major surgery to remove an organ. So that's just me. So I think that this is talking about that intuition, that inner knowing, that self-trust, that emotional stability, that knowledge, that wisdom, discovering my own truth, which is that this is going to be the best thing for my own personal health. And I'm hoping that it really does bring forth, I don't know, like some relief, some less pain in my life, because at this point in time, I kind of feel very like shackled by my pain, if that makes sense. So how am I coping with this shift emotionally? I am trying to lean more into like intuition, into my wisdom, the knowledge, my experience, essentially my inner knowledge is going to be my best guide in all of this, that I hope everything will be okay and everything will kind of turn out the way that I would like. So card number 3 is, what can I do to flow positively with the change? Here we have moving on. The 8 of Cups, right? It's about abandoning plans, walking away, letting go, traveling, escapism, reaching my limit, self-analysis, self-discovery, introspection, looking deeper, withdrawal, disappointment, and looking for the truth. So I guess what this is kind of saying, like, maybe I need to not look at it so much as like, am I losing some vital part of who I am? Because I'm not gonna lie, I am a little worried that maybe my intuition will change, that maybe I won't be able to connect as deeply in some ways if something's missing out of me. And it isn't to say like it's a vital thing, if that makes sense. It's more of just like, will I change? Will I be different? Will my experiences then be significantly changed because of this experience? So I think that this is just kind of telling me like, girl, shut up and just move on. Like, you're ready to walk away from this anyways. You've been ready. I don't know what you're hanging on. You're being a Debbie Downer for no reason. So, all right, let's move on to card number 4, which is going to be something I need to be conscious of at this time. Here we have the 10 of Wands. I get this card a lot. I'm not going to lie. I tend to overwork myself. I tend to overload myself. I tend to take on a lot of responsibilities, add a lot of stress. I'm really, really trying not to overstress myself about the situation, because due to the intensity and the just like recovery time, I'm not going to be able to do the regular work that I'm doing now. My surgeon would like me to take off 2 full months, 8 weeks. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of bugging about what that's gonna look like. I think it'll be nice to kind of rest at first and heal. But I think towards like the month in, I'm probably really going to have a hard time. So right now, like my insistence of like, well, I need to hurry up and like do everything that I can right now and do as much as I can right now so that I can kind of like have the opportunity to possibly not feel so stressed when that happens. And so I think for this is going to feel very challenging for me. It's something that I really just need to be aware of like not overburdening myself, which is something I've really been trying not to do, especially now that I have like surgery dates. I'm trying to like plan everything. Like I have everything like I'm trying to like schedule, and I'm like, I need to do this and this and this by this date. I need to do this and this and this. And even though it is a few months out, I still have everything like in my head, like I have to have this much done. I need to do these many things. I need to blah, 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 blah. And I'm trying not to add in too much into what I'm already doing. So it doesn't create more discord later on. So yep, I do need to be conscious to not overburden myself, to not, burn myself out, to not be, essentially kind of taking for granted the time that I have at the current moment and the things that I have available at my disposal right now. So card number 5 is how this change will look moving forward. Here we have restriction or the 8 of Swords, right? Feeling trapped, restricted, backed into a corner, hands tied, victimized, feeling pressure, hopeless, helpless, powerless, silenced, crisis, dilemma, drama, imprisonment, punishment, and slavery. So while this seems like a very dramatized kind of version of what recovery can look like, I will not be able to do a lot of things that are pretty normal for me, like working out, being very active, doing things for and by myself very easily. Like I'm not going to be able to drive for like a week. I'm not going to be able to go to work for 8 weeks, things like that, where it may feel very challenging. And I know it's going to be very hard, where I'm going to have to like rely on everyone else to help me do things that are my normal. Like I'm not supposed to lift up anything. Like that's going to be hard. So to me, I feel this restriction. So how this change will look moving forward is that it will be very restrictive in some ways. And I'm hoping that recovery goes well, that I don't overdo it while I'm trying to recover. That's why I'm going to take it very seriously, so that it doesn't become something that becomes a much bigger challenge, I guess would be what I'm really trying to say here. So oh my goodness. I was like, I'm not going to talk about this stuff on here. And here we go. Like everything I've been pulling lately is like all about this stuff. I'm like, can we focus on any other area of my life, please? So a way I can stay positive and high vibrational will be the 5 of Wands reversed. So this is typically a card of like conflict. This is talking about compromising, ending of conflict, reaching agreements, setbacks, disagreements, petty squabbling. So maybe for me, it's that I really do have to compromise, because I'm having to ask for help in ways that like I never have, and it's very uncomfortable for me. So that's something I'm having to take into consideration. And I guess the way for me to stay in like this positive and high vibrational energy is to not be in conflict, to not be causing arguments and disagreements and struggling and just trying to like do everything by myself. Like it's not just me, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to do everything alone, even if I kind of have done it that way for so long. So this is a quick and dirty kind of sample reading. I really don't want to get into it super too much, because I'm sure you guys do not care about what I have going on regarding that. But let me know if you guys like to do any kind of like period of transition spreads for yourself. Is there like things that happen in your life where maybe you like to kind of like do a check-in before you kind of make a choice, before you kind of get into the next thing? I know it's something that I really enjoy doing for me personally, because it really brings a lot of clarity, especially when I'm feeling very confused about what I'm currently doing, like what's significant, what's important, as well as like how to really tune into this energy a lot of the time, because that is something I tend to overthink a little bit too much. I get too much in my head about, what's going to happen next, what should I do? So I think that things like this can kind of help me get a little bit more concrete about what to expect. And maybe this is just kind of like the energy for now. Obviously, right before I have like my surgery and stuff like that, I more than likely will do another one of these because it will be a period of transition for me. And that way it'll just kind of help guide me through that healing process. So I want to say thank you so much for watching my videos. I really hope that these tarot spreads allow you to widen your practice or your own personal development. I really hope that you take care, stay safe, and as always, make good choices. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.